teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are some the league is afraid that there are some teams' games where you could get into the playoff game for $6. That is how low some of these ratings might be and how low some of these ticket prices might be. Let's get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification. Let's go. WNBA is in a...
This is unbelievable. At the moment, Indiana Fever playoff tickets are going for only $9.68. Yes, seriously, $9? That's cheaper than a Chipotle burrito with extra guac. And these aren't some random nosebleed seats. We're talking about WNBA playoff basketball. Imagine getting in for less than the price of a Happy Meal at McDonald's.
The WNBA is in a panic right now. The WNBA higher-ups are panicking. They don't know what's going to happen. I already let y'all know. I showed y'all the numbers that they was concerned about the playoff ratings and what they will be for the networks. They're concerned about it already. No Caitlin Clark here to carry everybody. They don't know how these numbers are going to look. Tickets are they're already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets.
Some teams are already rolling out Black Friday style deals for playoff tickets. But here's the twist, the real shocker, Caitlin Clark isn't on the floor. Instead, she's sitting on the sidelines in street clothes. And just like that, the entire basketball world, especially the WNBA's, has been turned completely upside down.
$9. This is the cheapest it's been to get into an Indiana Fever game all year. This is actually the cheapest it's been. Look, I still think it's going to be nearly a sellout because I'm sorry, if I lived anywhere near Indiana, if it was 10 quid, I'd go to the game. I'd go to the game. I'd absolutely go to the game. I don't care. I'll pay $10. It's cheaper to be in the arena watching the game than it is to sit at home. Probably more expensive than it would cost to go to to pay for one game on Fever Direct, I'd say, if that's a thing.
The Indiana Fever, a team that once sold tickets for hundreds, even thousands of dollars when their superstar point guard was healthy, are now practically giving away playoff seats like leftover Halloween candy nobody wanted.
Understandable in this era to figure that tickets for playoff games are more expensive than the regular season, but Fever tickets for Tuesday night remain very affordable. $12, $13. I don't know what they're going to lie about as far as attendance goes. We're going to get into that momentarily. There are tons of tickets, hundreds of tickets available, if not thousands of tickets still available for tonight's game at a cheap price of a hoagie sandwich and a bag of chips from Wawa. You know, during Hoagie Fest, nonetheless. A hoagie and a bag of chips from Wawa, you can get into Gainsbridge Arena.
Think about it. This is a franchise that, with Clark in the lineup, was charging fans anywhere from $16 to $700, and in some cases over $4,000, just for the chance to breathe the same air as their generational talent. Now, you can grab a ticket with pocket change and still have enough left over to cover parking.
NBA is in a frenzy right now. The cash cow is not available to play. The Golden Goose is not available right now. That is Caitlin Clark. So now everyone has to get their numbers on their own. We saw Caitlin Clark bring in a whopping 1.8 million viewers for her first playoff game versus the Connecticut Sun last season. That was more than all of the other playoff games that was played that day combined. More than all of the other playoff games played that day combined.
The whole league has officially gone into full-blown panic mode.
Last year, the cheapest ticket available to see the Indiana Fever at the Connecticut Sun in the first round of the 2024 WNBA playoffs, $133. Let's just say it's not near that expensive this year. It's not. So right there, Indiana Fever just had Caitlin Clark cut a WWE promo. I'm waiting for CM Punk to run out of the tunnel. There's Mr. Punk right there.
Suddenly, ticket prices make the dollar menu look expensive. The cheapest playoff seats are going for a laughable $9. And get this, you can even grab courtside spots for just $200. Courtside. That's the kind of price you'd expect for solid seats at a local high school game. The contrast is so stark, it borders on comical, if it weren't such a clear sign of what this league truly depends on. When Clark was healthy, burying logo threes and whipping out no-look passes, Fever home games averaged over 17,000 fans, even outdrawing the city's own NBA team. Road games were being shifted into massive arenas just to handle the frenzy. The Washington Mystics, for example, upgraded from their 4,200-seat venue to a 14,000-seat arena. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky ditched their 10,400-seat home for the United Center, packing in over 20,000 people. That, my friends, was the Caitlin Clark effect, on full, undeniable display.
You can get courtside seats for $200. It is $200 to go sit courtside. Second row courtside behind the basket is $200. 1 to 3 tickets. It is $200 to sit courtside this game. This is in fact the cheapest. It is cheaper to go to this Fever game. This is the cheapest it's been to get into the Fever all year. Why? Why is it the cheapest? Because, well, you see, these tickets went on sale after the Indiana Fever announced Caitlin Clark.
What makes this absolutely wild is the setup. On September 4th, Clark announced she'd be returning for the rest of the season, including the playoffs, despite battling a groin injury. And then, as if someone flipped a light switch, the entire atmosphere around Indiana Fever basketball changed overnight. This was the same team that had been setting franchise records for wins and road victories. Yet suddenly, they became an afterthought. The September 16th playoff game, the Fever's first home playoff appearance since 2016, should have been a monumental celebration. Instead, it turned into a harsh case study in just how much one player can single-handedly carry, not just a team, but the very relevance of an entire league. Fans who were once willing to practically mortgage their homes just to see Clark play are now scrolling past $9 tickets as if they were expired coupons.
Last time the Indiana Fever posted a video of Caitlin Clark talking was almost a month ago. But they know who they need to post when it's time to sell tickets. Damn! Putting CC front and center only when it's time to sell oh boy. Oh boy. And we're talking about the tickets, folks. Don't hate the player, hit the game. I'm just a lonely messenger. That's it. Look at these ticket prices. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Look at these ticket prices. $13, $12, $55 for section 100, $27, $147 for section 5, $55 for section 19, $330 for courtside seats. Ho!
But this isn't just about the Indiana Fever, it's the WNBA staring straight into the mirror, forced to see exactly what it is without its biggest draw. Clark's absence doesn't just hurt ticket sales, it's a seismic shockwave that ripples across television ratings, merchandise revenue, and overall interest in the league itself. Throughout the 2025 season, every time Clark missed games due to injury, the fallout was immediate and brutal. When she sat out 5 games earlier in the year, WNBA viewership cratered by a staggering 55%. Matchups that normally pulled in over 1 million viewers suddenly struggled to break 350,000. Even the All-Star game, where Clark had been slated to serve as a team captain, saw a 36% drop in viewership once her injury sidelined her. It's like showing up to a concert only to discover the headliner isn't performing. Suddenly, nobody cares about the opening acts. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. And if the rock-bottom ticket prices don't prove it, nothing will.
I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
And here's where things get both fascinating, and frankly, a little sad, for Indiana. The Fever built their entire identity around being Caitlin Clark's team. They drafted her first overall, restructured their offense around her unique skill set, and then watched as the franchise morphed from a WNBA afterthought into must-see television. Clark didn't just raise their on-court performance, she elevated the entire brand. Without her, the Fever are left trying to sell fans on Kelsey Mitchell's 20.2 points per game and Aaliyah Boston's strong inside presence. To be fair, these are exceptionally talented players who absolutely deserve recognition. But the market has spoken, and it's speaking loud and clear through those $9 tickets. The same fans who once camped outside arenas just to watch Clark warm up are now treating playoff basketball like a random Tuesday night at Chuck E. Cheese. And that's the heartbreak. This season should be remembered for milestones: 24 wins, 10 road victories, and back-to-back playoff appearances for the first time since 2015 to 2016. By every measure, it ought to be a celebration. Instead, it feels like a wake for what could have been.
Wow, they're already doing deals. Like they're trying to give you a free tire change. They're trying to give you a free car wash and all types of stuff to get out to these games. This is wild. Look at how empty this arena is. Look at how empty it is. The cheapest ticket, $6. Yeah, I could spot a nickel on the floor right there, row 2, section D1.
But let's zoom out for a moment, because this situation exposes something deeply uncomfortable about the WNBA, something nobody really wants to say out loud. They need Caitlin Clark more than they've ever needed any single player in their history. This isn't LeBron James leaving Cleveland. This is realizing your entire business model rests on the shoulders of a 23-year-old point guard who can't stay healthy. The league's unprecedented growth in 2024 didn't happen by accident. It happened because Clark brought eyeballs, sold tickets, and delivered mainstream attention the WNBA had never truly experienced. Attendance skyrocketed by 48% compared to 2023. 54 games sold out. Average attendance per game jumped from 6,615 to nearly 9,800. Television ratings shattered records across multiple networks, but here's the brutal flip side of that coin. When your league success is built so heavily on one player, what happens when that player can't take the floor? The answer is right there in front of us, those $9 playoff tickets.
But Caitlin Clark was first. You know what would have also put asses in seats? Indiana Fever? Clearing Caitlin Clark to play the game of basketball. That would have done it. I promise you. I promise you that would have done it. Again, I believe we deserve to know who ordered the code red. It's a lot different if it is Caitlin Clark and her people believe that, and her medical team believe that she could not play. If it was Stephanie White in the Indiana Fever, I believe that changes everything, as far as I'm concerned.
The timing of Clark's injury couldn't be crueler for the WNBA. The league is in the middle of a massive expansion phase. New teams are joining. An 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal is set to launch in 2026. Player salaries are being renegotiated, and corporate sponsors are pouring in. Everything was finally aligning for the WNBA to take that undeniable next step into the ranks of major professional sports leagues. And then it happened. Their biggest star, the player responsible for nearly 27% of the league's entire economic activity, goes down with an injury right before the most important games of the season. It's like a restaurant finally earning its first Michelin star, only for the head chef to call in sick that very night. All the infrastructure, all the preparation, all the hype, yet the one thing that truly makes it special isn't there when it matters most.
Back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlin Clark. There are other people who are doing things. So Caitlin Clark has been injured, so she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%
Yikes.
across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark.
Perhaps the most telling part of this entire saga is how quickly fans abandoned ship. And we're not talking about casual observers here, these were the diehards. The ones who shelled out premium prices to see Clark play, drove from Iowa to Indiana, bought the merch, and tuned into every single game. They were the literal foundation of the WNBA's recent rise, but when push came to shove, when Clark was officially ruled out for the playoffs, they voted with their wallets. And that vote was loud and clear: no thanks to $200 courtside seats, and maybe, if it's dirt cheap, to $9 general admission. This isn't a knock on the league's other stars or the quality of basketball being played. It's the brutal, undeniable reality of professional sports. Fans connect with players, not abstract notions of competition. They crave greatness. And for the past 2 years, Caitlin Clark has been the living embodiment of that greatness in women's basketball.
So, like a lot of people, I started following the WNBA. And I'm sorry, I hate to sound cliche, but it is because of Caitlin Clark. I flew my family to Indy to catch the game opener, and it was just such an amazing thing to see. We fell in love with the city. We, of course, also fell in love with the Pacers, and we followed every game.
The Indiana Fever and the WNBA are both learning a painful lesson about what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket. Clark's injury has laid bare just how dependent the franchise and the league itself have become on her singular star power. It's a sobering reminder that building a sustainable business around one player, no matter how gifted, carries enormous risk. For the Fever, this is a massive wake-up call about player management and injury prevention. Clark has already missed significant time in 2025 with multiple soft tissue injuries, and each absence sent ticket sales, viewership, and fan interest into freefall. If she's truly going to be the face of the franchise for years to come, the team must do everything possible to keep her healthy. For the WNBA as a whole, the situation underscores an urgent reality. The league needs multiple stars and compelling storylines to carry momentum when individual players are sidelined. The fact that attendance and ratings collapse so dramatically whenever Clark is out suggests that the league's recent surge, while impressive, may not be nearly as stable as it looked at the end of the day. Those $9 playoff tickets speak louder than any press release or PR spin. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever desperately need Caitlin Clark. Without her, playoff basketball in Indiana slips into a bargain bin afterthought, cheap enough to skip without a second thought. Is it fair to the other talented players on the Fever roster? Probably not. But is it a brutally honest reflection of how professional sports fandom works? Absolutely. Fans don't rally behind jerseys, they rally behind players who spark their imagination and make them believe they're witnessing something extraordinary.
Is a superstar from top to bottom. You never seen a woman shoot the ball like that or pass the ball like that and has that fire. You downplay it, you diminish it, you try to kill it. You almost killed it, but thank God Caitlin Clark is a strong human being. But the fact that they're trying to replace her with someone subpar talent, subpar entertainment value is ridiculous, and try to give credit to those who don't really deserve credit and try to have players to be the face who aren't really the face. The one thing about the face of the league, it's not chosen by the league, it's chosen by the...
For the past 2 years, Caitlin Clark has been that something special in women's basketball. Her absence from these playoffs, made glaringly obvious by historically low ticket prices, is a stark reminder of just how rare and valuable that kind of singular star power truly is. The WNBA found its golden goose, and now it's learning, painfully, what happens when that goose simply can't fly. Those $9 tickets aren't just cheap seats. They're a sobering reminder that in professional sports, one player really can make the difference between must-see television and background noise. And right now, without Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever playoffs have become the most affordable disappointment in professional sports. The question isn't whether this is wild or crazy, it's both. The real question is what the WNBA and the Indiana Fever will do with this harsh lesson about the razor-thin line between sustainable growth and unsustainable dependency. Because those empty seats at Gainbridge Fieldhouse are telling a story, and it's one the league can't afford to ignore.